So welcome back to another episode of Deadponic's deck breakdown from Magic the Gathering. In this episode, we're going to be slinging spells at your opponent at Mach 5 with Shiko and Narset unified. So the deck's main objective is to cast as many sorceries and instants as we can to get as much value out of the effects of creatures on our board. So I go through the deck to get the cards we want with scry and bottom of the library effects, burn through the opponent's life indirectly through creature effect damage, and trigger creature effects when we cast non-creature spells. The deck's main strengths is that it pings everyone's life equally and doesn't focus on any one opponent. The color combination provides removal, dedicated damage, impulse draw, and good keywords, and access to counter spells and dedicated card draw. It has the capability to progress quickly and deals lots of damage in a short period of time. It takes advantage of the graveyard, often using it as a second hand to cast non-creature spells from the grave, and can combo very easily depending on the setup and go from a minor annoyance to a major threat in a short space of time. The deck has several notable weaknesses, including since creatures are not the main focus, the deck is vulnerable to aggressive or go wide decks, though this can be mitigated depending on the list. Playing all your spells in one turn means you will run out of cards in hand very quickly and will be forced to top deck. You are most likely to get focused down with targeted removal unless there is a bigger threat on the board. Spellslinging decks rely on interaction and psychological warfare to bait out an opponent, which is hard to learn and difficult to master in a social setting. And the archetype has a high skill ceiling. It is not recommended for new players, and low skill players will develop the unhealthy habit of playing all their spells at once or wasting their interaction. So the color combination for this deck is Jeskai, which is blue, red, and white. The main strengths of Jeskai is this versatility. It can be played as a control deck, an aggressive mid-range deck, or a combo-based deck. The color combination of blue's dedicated card draw and counter spells combined with red's impulse draw and dedicated damage, combined with white's protection, keywords, and dedicated removal make for a powerful combination. Most of the spells that you will be playing will be instants and sorceries between 1 and 4 converted mana cost, and depending on the list, it can control the flow of the table, and the deck has an answer for almost everything. The main weaknesses of Jeskai are its reliance on cards in hand, meaning any form of discard will reduce your effectiveness substantially. The lack of dedicated graveyard recursion specifically for creatures and spells in general due to the lack of black is a notable trip up, however this can be mitigated. Effects that alter combat, specifically how you attack, block, damage calculation, and being allowed to attack in general will slow you down or trip you up. Overextending with spells, using interaction at the wrong moment, or baiting out opponents only for the bluff to be called is notable among low-skill players, and it has no answer for go-wide decks due to creatures being less of a focus. However, this can be mitigated depending on the list. So the commander for this deck is Shiko and Narset Unified from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Jeskai Striker Precon. It costs 1 colorless and 1 Jeskai. Its base stats are those of a 4/4 creature with flying and vigilance. Its main ability is it can copy the second spell cast if it targets a permanent or player, and choose a new target for the copy. And if you are unable to copy or choose not to, you draw a card instead. Some of the key creatures include Guttersnipe, which deals 2 damage to each opponent when you cast an instant or sorcery. Manaform Hellkite gives you a red dragon illusion token with flying and haste, with stats based on the spell's mana value whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Vivi Ornithir deals 1 damage to everyone and gives you mana based off his power when you cast a non-creature spell. And Talrand Sky Summoner gives you a 2/2 Drake token with flying whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. Some other key spells include Return the Past, an enchantment essential for playing multiple instants and sorceries from the graveyard in order to combo with Vivi or Guttersnipe. Solve the Equation is a 3-drop tutor for instants and sorceries and is great for getting key pieces into hand. River Song's Diary exiles instants and sorceries play from hand and lets you cast 1 at random if 4 or more are exiled via its effect. And Turn to Mist is a 2-drop protection against single target removals or board wipes. The main strategy for the deck is to get either VV, Talrand, or Guttersnipe onto the field, or all 3 if you can, and keep them there with protection. Use the scry cards to set up your hand for the opportune moment to combo. Play Return the Past to be able to play instants and sorceries from your graveyard. combo off of any or all of the burn creatures to deal damage indirectly. Use Whirlwind of Thought to replenish your hand as needed. And if you have lots of flying tokens from Manaform Hellkite and Talrand, you can swing safely for decent damage. Now let's take a look at some optimal starting hands. The first is either 2 to 3 lands, 1 ramp spell, usually an artifact or a ritual, 1 instant or sorcery, and 1 creature for defense. The second is 3 lands, 2 creatures, and an instant or sorcery. And the final one is 3 lands, 1 creature, 2 instants, and 1 sorcery. And finally, to round out the video, let's take a look at some other possible containers for spell slinging. Stella Lee Wildcard can copy instant and sorceries and provides impulse draw. Storm Force of Nature gives the next instant or sorcery you cast Storm, which makes a copy of itself on the stack. Riku of Many Paths synergizes with modal spells and provides access to ramp. And Gearson's Darn has Ward 2 and does 2 damage whenever a source does exactly 1 damage. Thank you all for watching, stay tuned for more deck breakdowns, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.